Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Miami Dolphins post-game show on the Fins Talk Sports Network. I'm Bobby Fins Talk. That's FinStanza. And as you can see, Dolphins have choked on Monday Night Football, fall to 9-4 on the season. I mean, if even if they had won that game, I said it to Ralph on the phone who called me. I said, even with a victory, it's probably the ugliest game they've played all year. Every time they play, and I said this on pregame, I didn't have their primetime record on hand, and I wish I did, but I had brought up that they're not they have a terrible primetime record. It's not good. So it's what happens. First off, everyone tuning in, Hunter, Back It Up Binge Podcast, Wildcat, Ronald McDonald, thank you all for tuning in. Appreciate you. December collapse coming. We can feel it. Well, they're 1-1 right now. Oh my goodness. It was the whole game was just, too damn close for company. There was no reason why that should have been that close. Offense couldn't get nothing rolling. I don't know what the hell happened there. A lot of injuries. People were dropping like flies at the beginning of the game. It's just Titans were just physical all over. Look, I'll say it like this before we roll in. I know we're all pissed. We should be. I know we're all upset. We should be. But Dolphins are still 9-4. And yeah, I know. And Dolphins are still 9-4 on the season. They're 1-1 in December. But yeah, this is a team you're not supposed to lose to. That you should be able to beat. We got tougher matchups coming, and they didn't get the job done. We'll dive deeper as we go here. Titans win. Dolphins, of course, now fall to the second seed, which, again, silver lining. But how does that impact them going forward? But as I go further, and I know, first off, again, before I get FinStanza here, because I know we're going to get rolling, and I know it's late. I want to appreciate everybody. I thank everybody who just is tuning in as we go on here, and I want to get your thoughts as well. But before we do that, let's go ahead and talk about our new sponsors. First sponsor, of course, new sponsor is the greatest show on surf.shop for Miami Dolphin fans. Miami Dolphins team merched for the number one offense in football with Tyreek and Jalen Waddle, Cheetah, and the Penguin. Guys, they got a great site on there, great merchandise, brand new merchandise. Go check them out. And you could use promo code FINSTALK if you like anything on that site. You see something you like. First off, the prices are great. They're fair. You see anything you like, put in a code FINSTALK on there, the promo code. Saves you 15% off your order. Okay? And Ralph, I love you, Ralph. I almost texted you back and said, damn it, Ralph, you jinxed us. Ralph called me at before the Titans got the 21 points, and he goes, we're good, man. He never calls me. We had this jinx thing, and it happened, but it's all good, Ralph. It wasn't your fault. Dolphins let that stay too damn close. But anyway, as we move on, FinStanza, you're quiet. It's me nervous. But your initial thoughts on this game?
As you could tell, I did the quick change. You put on the Dolphin stuff after a game, I take it off. Am I pissed? No. Am I surprised? Yes. But am I really surprised? No. And let's go where I'm going here. So, unfortunately, Marissa couldn't join us because she has to cram for an exam. But I said this last year at the Chargers game. Mike McDaniel is might be a great players coach, but he is the worst play caller I have ever seen in my entire life. It reasserted itself during the Buffalo game last year, and today he was purposely avoiding giving Raheem Mostert the football when we were averaging almost 6 yards a carry, and was happy to settle. Mr. Aggressive goes for field goals finally. But then we have 3 plays after Tyreek makes this beautiful catch. Let's throw it 3 times and 2 slips. And the first drive. This was a body bag game. Players were falling everywhere.
Yeah.
What Mike McDaniel showed today is he's not a great play caller. All he has is Tyreek Hill. When Tyreek Hill left the game, he fell apart. He didn't know what to do. Tua didn't know what to do. They were lost. Tua almost killed Devon Achane. He almost killed Jalen Waddle. He almost killed himself with the running plays where he put it down. In hockey, that's what you call like you're putting your person in a position to get really hurt. Tua put his players in a position to get very hurt. Mike McDaniel is stubborn beyond belief with the passing game, even if Tyreek Hill wasn't in the game, even though we had 100 yards heading into the half between Achane and Mostert. Where was Jeff Wilson? Who knows? He kept on throwing the football. Tua had no time in the pocket because he didn't have Tyreek Hill, which now shows that our offensive line isn't as great as everyone thinks it is because Tua's getting it out so fast because Tyreek Hill's getting to the play much faster than anybody thinks. Jalen Waddle miscommunicated with him multiple times. I don't understand that when they've been playing together for a number of years. Mike McDaniel is not a good coach on the field. He may be a great guy, but I've been saying this, and Marissa said it ago, the play calling was awful. What did I say the keys for the game were? The defense not collapsing. The offense, then you saw Spears go crazy as a rookie. I said the no turnovers. What does Tua do? He fumbles the ball on the freaking goal line again with Liam Eichenberg. And Mike McDaniel's play calling. Mike McDaniel had a balanced attack at one point and they gave up on it. I don't understand for my life what they're doing. Danny Crossman should be fired. I've been saying that for how long? Who has the control to fire him? Mike McDaniel. And on that, this is the second time in a row on a field goal we're completely lost where Christian Wilkins has to do multiple things. We're getting on the two last drives, Vic Fangio. This is why I told him he has to be on the goddamn freaking field. He's communicating from above. That was the weakest zone. That was the weakest prevent defense I've ever seen in my entire life. You left DeAndre Hopkins open. The 2-point conversion, which would have mattered, you left it wide open. The defense could not care less. Bradley Chubb should have been benched. How does a guy who makes $14 million or $15 million a year slam his helmet in the middle of the field? How does Zach Steeler get a defensive delay of game towards the end of the game? Mike McDaniel's on there with his arms crossed, not doing anything. Tua Tagovailoa has proven again tonight he is an average quarterback without weapons, and he completely collapses without Tyreek Hill. Completely collapses. He had other weapons between Cedric Wilson and Jalen Waddle and Braxton Berrios. Braxton Berrios never hardly saw the ball today. I swear to God, and shame on you. Want to know why I'm fuming with Mike McDaniel? I'm calm about this. Think about this. I'm not even yelling. How many times is he going to throw the ball to Tyreek Hill on a screen? Every time you do it, he fumbles the football or gets horse-collared and got injured. If Tyreek Hill misses any time, that injury is on Mike McDaniel. I don't even blame it on the defender. I blame it on Mike McDaniel for throwing the same stupid screen pass over and over and over again that loses yards. He got his player injured to lose 6 yards. Do you understand? This in the last 767 attempts at winning. A team down by 14 with 3 minutes left, all the teams lost except the Miami Dolphins. The Miami Dolphins are on the verge of choking this season away because what happens to the Miami Dolphins is when they suffer a devastating loss, they don't recover in December. It happened in San Francisco, and they suffered it the rest of the season. I won't be surprised what Tony Romo said last night if the Bills win this division. I will not be surprised. I will not be surprised if the Dolphins fall to the 6th or 7th seed. I will not be surprised because Mike McDaniel showed tonight he is not a leader on the football field. When it matters most, think about this. We scored 14 unanswered points that we had no business scoring. The offense scored nothing tonight on the running game. The only time they scored was when the Titans gave it to us. The Miami Dolphins right now, stats or not, without Tyreek Hill just proved tonight, they should stop the MVP voting right now and give him the award because without Tyreek Hill on this football team is a 500 team at best. The offense doesn't know what to do. The defense becomes a prevent defense. And they just don't care. I've never, and tomorrow they're going to get away with it, Hard Knocks, because they're not going to show today's game because it's going to have to wait till next week. Where was Andrew Van Ginkel in this game? Christian Wilkins had 1 sack and Zach Taylor was great. Where was the defense in the second half? They gave what's his name plenty of time to throw the football. Will Levis. Will Levis had way more time to throw the football with a crappy offensive line than us. Liam Eichenberg, I would like you to play what Steve Malloy always has to say. Austin Jackson got exposed towards the end of the game. Liam Eichenberg is no center. Took 3 holding penalties today. Lester Cotton took penalties. Kendall Lamb struggled. Robert Jones was the only quiet one. For me, Julian Hill cannot block a cold. Mike McDaniel. The players were awful tonight, but this falls on the coaching staff. I'm telling you this right now. It sounds crazy. Brian Flores coaching this team tonight, we don't lose this football game. Because there's no way, I'm telling you, there was no fire. Remember you once said you need an a-hole for a coach? Mike Vrabel was pissed, but he went to talk to his guy calmly, and he kept on pushing. He looked pissed on the sideline when the team struggled. Mike McDaniel just has his hands crossed, not a care in the world. For me, what's the worst part about this is I feel so bad for the fans of this team. And I'm not talking about the bat going off and down. I'm always going to love my Miami Dolphins. But the problem is that for the next week, we're going to have to suffer through the fact that the Miami Dolphins, not only can they not beat a great team, on prime time, they choke, they implode, they don't matter. And now the AFC is completely wide open. It's the Ravens to take. The Bills can reappear. The Chiefs can overcome this. There's no guarantee anymore. Like tomorrow, if someone told me if you had to put your money down to get to go deep in the playoffs right now, tomorrow, would you take the Miami Dolphins or the Buffalo Bills? I take the Buffalo Bills because they have Josh Allen, who doesn't need his coach to win him football games. Tua had to be handheld today, and even when he was handheld, couldn't do anything with the play calling. He was getting his players in trouble. They were losing yards. They did not stick to the run. They should have kept on running the ball. They didn't, and they only started running the ball when they knew it was an easy touchdown in the red zone. But to move down the field, let's force it. Let's try a pass interference. Let's try this. Let's try that. Mike McDaniel is a below average head coach when it matters. The play calling, like Marissa even said was worried about, has been garbage. It's absolute garbage if Tyreek Hill's not on the field. It's unbelievable. Vic Fangio should be ashamed of himself for that prevent defense. He should be losing it on his team right now. It's just an embarrassment for me. I'm sad. I'm not mad. I'm sad because we've been fighting for something good every year, and it's the same old BS. And I don't only blame the players. I blame the coaches. I don't know if it's the pheromones in that head coach's office, but the stubbornness of this head coach is asinine to me. He did not cut me off in traffic, Bobby, but I was consistent last year about this. His play calling is ridiculous. On every single show, I've never complimented him on his play calling. And I don't understand. I think the defense just got pissed. I think they said, you want to know what? We're doing everything we possibly can. Offense, do something. The offense did nothing today. They did absolutely nothing in primetime at home. Hank said this was going to be a game where this was a scary game for him. Their running game wasn't good. We let DeAndre Hopkins go crazy on us today. I don't want to hear about the penalties, about DeAndre Hopkins pulling Xavier Howard. I don't want to hear this nonsense. They played soft defense on the last 2 drives when they could have closed out the game. Tua, with the ball in his hands twice, choked it away. It's an absolute embarrassment. It's sad. It's pathetic. I feel bad for every person who plunked down their hard-earned money to go to this game. They got a great. You know what? That's my point. By the way, I don't care. I don't care what Thirsty said. Bradley Chubb proved to me he's a selfish football player. He cost us at the beginning of this game. By doing that, you don't care about anyone but yourself. You're caring about your sack number versus the benefit of this football team. Mike McDaniel. Let me ask you something. Your best offensive weapon this season, outside of Tyreek Hill, has been Raheem Mostert. But Tyreek Hill goes out of the game. But let's keep trying to throw the ball where it's not working. Let Tua get his players injured. Let's throw to Devon Achane deep down on the ball the way you're throwing to Tyreek Hill. Mike McDaniel is an embarrassment right now for me. He should be ashamed of himself. I don't want to hear. He is going. It is going to take a Super Bowl for me to forgive him. He is an embarrassment. He did this last year in December, and today he cost himself the football game because he could have saved Tua embarrassment. He could have saved his team embarrassment by running the football when it mattered. We settled for 3 points with Jason Sanders to tie the football game 10-10 when he could have ran that football 3 times. Try, Mike McDaniel. Let's force the ball. Let's slip. Like it's almost like Tua almost moved to the area where he needed to be on that third down to give Jason Sanders an easier kick. It's unbelievable. And Tua kept on falling. I think Tua did too much jujitsu because Tua kept on falling.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. It was embarrassing. Did it rain in Miami today on the grass? I don't understand. He kept on tripping on his own 2 feet. And it's unbelievable. And Liam Eichenberg, I don't know if you noticed this, Liam Eichenberg got in the way of Devon Achane when he was running the football, and he pushed him out of the way. Liam Eichenberg didn't know where to go. It was, in fact, the amount of penalties. Butch Berry can only do what he can do. But Mike McDaniel could have called the game. They were better in the run than they were in the pass. You did not have enough time to throw. And only time, and I just don't get it. Like, honestly, if you're going to bring Tyreek Hill on the field, use him. Don't use him as a decoy. Just use him. You were better off. Jalen Waddle still doesn't know what he's doing. Braxton Berrios. Like, when we're levitating over the celebrations, or Alec Ingold jumping over someone, they just showed the entire world. Like, I'm not even getting to the fact that this was a split screen. Shame on ESPN. You couldn't even enjoy the football game. I saw more of the Packers game than I did the Dolphins game at one point because they were pushing us to a small window when I was watching. You have all these weapons. Like, you have Claypool. You have he doesn't use anyone except Tyreek Hill. There are 53 men on this roster, and Mike McDaniel will only be successful as far as Tyreek Hill will take him. This is an embarrassment. This is not a Mike McDaniel-led team. This is a Tyreek-led team. And Tyreek Hill is the only factor that matters on this team. And
Let me ask you this. And I'm pissed. A lot of the things.
I'm not pissed. I'm sad.
Yeah. Okay. I'm pissed.
Sad.
I'm just pissed. Yeah. Well, that's more of what it is.
I'm embarrassed
because we should be winning this game. But I'm going to play advocate here, the devil's advocate, kind of go different on you here. Again, crappy loss. You lose 28-27. I don't know what Hank's official prediction was. I know he said it was a
win, but it was a bigger win than you think.
He had predicted that it was going to be
35-13. 35-13.
Is that what Hank said? 35-13?
Yeah, something like that.
Because at the beginning of the season, he said he predicted a loss. And he messaged me after the game. I told you it was going to be a loss. So I didn't know what he read there. But anyway, look, it's a loss. It sucks. It's against a team you should not lose against. Okay. They're 5-8. That's not a team you're supposed to lose against. I had talked before the game against how Miami has choked they struggle on prime time, and they continue to do so. Okay. They fall 9-4 on the season. Now they are just 9-4. They haven't dropped from the 1st seed to the 8th seed. I understand what we're concerned with down the line. Okay. But, it's still 9-4, still the 2nd seed in the AFC.
Who cares?
Let me get to my point. I listened to the whatever you were talking about. I didn't tell you who cares, because you're acting like this now, but let's not act like tomorrow night or Thursday you're all be goody two shoes again. So chill out. Yes, you will. Yes, you will.
The one thing I've been consistent about, and you've known this forever, I have never praised Mike McDaniel. And
they're not talking about Mike McDaniel. I'm talking about everything else.
But I've been consistent on Mike McDaniel. You want real talk? I'm the one guy on this network who has never been a fan of his.
Real talk. Listen, talk about real talk. Real talk. Fins Talk is on live tomorrow at 6:30, and Steve Malloy
a dose of me
and Dolphins Thirsty are going to be on tomorrow night, and they're going to have plenty to say about this. No, but look, And I'm not disagreeing with most of what you said. I'm just saying on the other side of it, you're saying, hell freezes over. It's Armageddon. This team is not going to do shit. They're over. They're done with, but at the same time, 9-4. What makes you think that, a lot of good teams have hiccups? The Eagles have had it. Hold on. The Eagles have had an upset. The Kansas City Chiefs, the Ravens almost had an upset last night. That's why Miami is in the second seed right now, besides winning the games they're supposed to win minus tonight, but also because those teams have dropped games they're not supposed to drop. But when it comes to playoff time, those teams are still going to be the favorites. What makes you think, if you actually think, that this is just not a hiccup in the road and Miami can overcome it?
Mike McDaniel. Simple as that. Tell me a game where Mike McDaniel has called a great game without Tyreek Hill being the star. Give me a game. Name me a game. Name me a game where Tyreek Hill has not been there or has not been the leader on this team. When he needed him to come back in Baltimore, Tyreek Hill did it with Tua.
So you're saying Mike McDaniel's a one-dimensional coach?
No, Mike McDaniel is a moron. Okay. He's more worried.
Hold on.
He's more worried about his shoes and his style and being cool with everybody versus being an a-hole. And you want to know what? Today, maybe I did say one time we need to ask an a-hole coach, but my first line was we needed a-hole at quarterback. That's what I had said originally. Because Tua right now is taking it on the chin, saying it's the Liam drop. Because you want to know why that fumble was on him? Not because Liam missed the ball. He tried to recover the football and make a play versus falling on the goddamn football and live for another play. That was on Tua. He could have fallen on the ball, not tried to get up, and would have still had the next play and would have had 3 points. We may have won that football game. Mike McDaniel is like I told you, Tua is a robot. He does what Mike McDaniel tells him to do. Mike McDaniel he took a field goal on two drives where you're on the goal line. You threw it 6 times. You didn't give it to Raheem Mostert. And then all of a sudden, when you had 2 touchdowns, what happened? Raheem Mostert should have had 4 touchdowns today. Instead, you had 2 field goals. Shame on you, Mike McDaniel. Shame on you. There's no excuses for this. You are hurting this team. And I told you this. Him and Tua are tied together. If they choke this year, I don't know what to tell you. It's going to be the same thing because without Tyreek Hill, Tua looks lost. And without Tyreek Hill, Mike McDaniel looks lost. I can't explain it. You have a running back duel. Like, for example, Devon A-Chain. What is he, a running back? You turned him into a receiver today. And on 2 plays, he got destroyed, and 2 he dropped. To Jalen Waddle.
Well, the ball was a little ahead of him. He didn't drop it.
Yeah. No, but also he stopped. He pulled a Braylon Sanders and stopped running.
Yeah.
He stopped running. Brandon Jones is a disaster. This guy got 2 players injured. He got Jerome Baker, and who else did he try? Who else did he knock over today? Did he almost get injured on defense? Who's the guy they hit? Who's the guy he hit on defense that fell? Do you remember?
Today?
Yeah, who did he knock over on defense? Howard. Remember Howard cramped up?
Oh, yeah.
He's too aggressive. All I could say is Mike McDaniel was hoping and praying for Tyreek to come back in and then didn't use him. If he's in there, use him. I would only have thrown to him at that point because no one else was working, or run the goddamn football.
And, let me just say this. Too. I want to get this out here.
Tua was a disaster to me.
I know that. But that is why, and I've said this before, statistically, you look at the numbers overall. I know that. Let me just get my point. Yeah. Statistically, you look at the numbers. If you're not watching the games, and as Dolphin fans, you watch every game of the season, you could say, but especially people who don't watch the games, they look at the numbers and go, oh, yeah, Tua should be an MVP candidate. Oh, for sure. But here's the problem. The guys who are watching the MVP voting, they only watch on primetime. They don't actually watch it. That's why when fans get mad, like at Stephen A. Smith, when he makes his comments and he says the things he says, like he trusts Baltimore more than the Dolphins. Do you think he watches any Dolphin game? No. You know what he was watching tonight? The Dolphins. You know what he just saw? Yesterday, the Baltimore Ravens beat the Rams, a team they were supposed to beat, in overtime. What did the Dolphins do? They gave up 14 points in 2 minutes, less than 2 minutes. They lost to the Tennessee Titans.
To a winless team on the road.
And an undefeated home team lost to a winless on the road team. Okay, so that's why, guys, we're fans. You could be excited. You could be excited for your team, root, blah, blah, blah. But just understand why the Stephen A. Smiths of the world and the Mike Greenbergs and whatever, and all those things I've seen, that's why they say these things. The Dolphins do not come with – they don't win in prime time. They choke on prime time. Come here. FinStanza, you stop the Mike McDaniel slander. Now, Tyreek was the problem tonight, not McDaniel.
You're right.
How was Tyreek the problem? Because he got hurt?
I think they're doing whatever. No, because that play that he got hurt on is on Mike McDaniel. He
loves the screen. He loves the screen.
But who's been consistent telling you the screen's the worst call he ever made?
I've been saying the same thing. I hate the screen. You didn't invent the slander on the screen.
Mike, and I'm giving Steve Malloy full credit now.
I don't listen to Stephen A. anymore.
Steve Malloy can play that offensive line thing for the rest of the season, and I will support him. Not because the offensive line is bad. It's because it is, without Tyreek Hill, it gets exposed. Without Tyreek Hill, it gets exposed. And this was a perfect opportunity for Jalen Waddle to overcome. He got outplayed by DeAndre Hopkins. Derrick Henry was nothing special today. It was all DeAndre Hopkins and Spears, and we looked awful today. All I can say is the defense cowered. So Jalen Ramsey, Xavier Howard, Bradley Chubb, Christian Wilkins, Zach Sealer, Andrew Van Ginkel, they should be ashamed of themselves for those last two drives. You're supposed to be a top 6 defense. You were not on that drive against a winless team. Like I said, this was the last teams that were down 14 with 3 minutes left were 0-7-67. Now they're 1-7-67. It's an absolute sham. And in the end, you can't blame only Vic Fangio and the players. In the end, you can't trade all your players. You can only blame the coach. And Mike McDaniel at home with the players he had on the field should be capable enough. You know what it tells me, Bobby? We don't have enough depth at wide receiver. And you should have gone and paid for a DeAndre Hopkins. If you went to go get Chase Claypool, why aren't you using him? Go find another wide receiver that you trust more than Jalen Waddle, because it doesn't seem that you trust anybody.
Who do you blame for that? Who do you blame for that?
Mike McDaniel.
No, wrong answer.
I don't blame Chris Greer on this one.
You better know, with depth at wide receiver? For depth at wide receiver, you're going to blame Mike McDaniel? Mr. Apologize to Chris Greer at 9-3 on the season?
You're not.
And where do you stand on that now, Mr. Depth?
I'm not saying. I just told you there is depth there, but he's not using it. Chase Claypool is a weapon. Use him. He's been on the team for how many weeks? For how many weeks? How many weeks has Chase Claypool been on the roster? He only goes to one player. He's a prisoner of the passing game, even if the passing game is the wrong thing to go.
But is it him, though, or is it the quarterback?
No.
Because to me, as soon as Tyreek is in the field, you maybe look what you're saying is, and I get it, and I
over 5 yards to carry.
Listen, you know what you were saying with Tua being a robot, meaning, you know, and I've said this before, he eyes down the guy he's going. As soon as he calls, like, he knows where he's going. He's not scanning the field. So maybe he is, but to me, maybe he's just more comfortable with Tyreek where he is against Jalen or Braxton or whomever else. You know, and again, you're right. I said it when he threw to Achane. He was gonna get him killed. That was a stupid, dumbass pass. You know, and you are supposed to be the MVP candidate, leading the first team in the AFC, the first team in the AFC East against a low-tier team, and you put up that type of performance. We could blame the coach for the play calling, you know, but we used Achane as a receiver. I'd use Achane as a receiver too. Achane would be that's why I have Mozart. Those guys are that good. You could use them in all different sets, except he doesn't use them enough. You know, it's what it is. To me, I would go, man, Tua, be more free. Be a little.
He doesn't know how.
I know. Well, that's what it is.
He's a robot. He does what Mike McDaniel tells him to do.
Okay.
And Mike McDaniel is the reason why we lost this football game. Pure and simple. He took 3 points twice in the red zone. Because he threw it 6 times. It's simple as that. It is simple as that. He took 6 plays and threw it 6 times in the red zone. He is the worst. I said this weeks ago. He is the worst short yardage play caller in the NFL. I would take Bill Belichick on offense over Mike McDaniel.
Oh, stop it.
I would take
overreaction wagon, clip it, quote it, overreaction. Come on.
Bobby, let me ask you something. Let me ask you. You're teaching your kids basketball right now. You're teaching your son basketball.
Yes.
Are you teaching him to shoot from the perimeter or to get to the basket?
Get to the basket.
Mike McDaniel wants to shoot from 10 years, shoot threes versus going for 2.
I understand.
It's simple. He is a moron. And I'm sorry. He's a moron. He's an idiot. He's a buffoon.
Stop.
No, I'm not kidding. I will not.
I'm not saying you are. I'm not saying you are.
I'll put it this way. I said this right now. They will not win this Sunday. I'm not overreacting. They will lose to the Jets at home. They will lose to the Jets at home. I'm making that prediction right now, and my prediction on your show will be a loss because Mike McDaniel will do the same thing again without Tyreek Hill, because likely Tyreek Hill will not play, and he has to go against a top 10 defense, and he's going to get his ass handed to him. He played against a bottom-feeding defense tonight.
So wait,
Simmons.
Can I hold you to that? So next pregame, you're not changing your prediction? You're going to say the Dolphins will lose against the Jets? They say you're sticking next pregame. You're not going to change that. You're saying Dolphins are losing against the Jets.
Dolphins are losing to the Jets.
I'm gonna hold you to it.
Hold me to it.
I'm gonna hold you to it.
Hold me to it. And I'm doing this because Mike McDaniel is not going to have Tyreek Hill. He's not going to have Teron Armstead. He's not going to have Javon Holland. He's going to sit them out again, saying, "Oh, we could just do it," and he's going to start throwing the ball again. And it's going to be a mess. Liam Eichenberg at center is going to be a disaster. And Mike McDaniel is going to do the same stupidity because Mike McDaniel did this last year. Last year, he did this against Green Bay. He did this against the Chargers. He did this against the 49ers. Wasn't on him. But he did this against Bobby. The memory injection in my brain is we're averaging 7 yards a carry. 7 yards a carry in the snow. Let's throw a screen pass on 3rd down to Tyreek Hill. What happened? We lost yards. What happened tonight? He took Cheetah away from us. Cheetah is injured because of Mike McDaniel. It is a joke. I blame Tyreek's injury on Mike McDaniel. I blame tonight on Mike McDaniel. I will blame the failure of this season on Mike McDaniel because Mike McDaniel, all he had to do was run the football tonight on 2 red zone drives, and he came away with 6 points. The number 1 offense in the league, Bobby, because of Tyreek Hill, you came away with no point. And how many times are you going to throw that stupid fade? That fade was a disaster tonight, Bobby. The screens and the fades are plays that don't work. They don't work, and he keeps on throwing them. We don't have a 6'5" wide receiver in DeAndre Hopkins. We don't have an Antonio Brown, AJ Brown.
That's one thing I think we do need. I will say this right now. I know when you go, Dolphins don't need another big.
By the way,
time
I know who I think I know who that is on Twitch.
It has to be somebody you know because
I bet you it's Marissa.
Come here now, Beach.
I have a feeling it's her.
Okay.
I'll say if it's her or not.
Anyway, I will just say this. What?
I'm telling you right now, after today, I am no longer going to say that Bam is overrated. Bam is an excellent center. Mike McDaniel
is overrated. Let me just say this because I saw, first off, everyone tuning in. We appreciate you guys joining us in this very late hour. We're reacting live. It's raw reaction, guys. You've got to forgive us. And we do this Calm down. It is raw reaction, but we have a blast. We love doing this, and we love talking. We love our Dolphins, and we love talking Dolphins. But as fans, you have every right to be pissed and bet and demand more, and that's what FinStanza is doing. But I want to thank everybody for watching right now. And again, if you haven't done it so yet, jump onto our YouTube channel at Fins Talk Sports Network. Hit that like and subscribe button. Dr. Aubrey Tyer, we have Claypool for the fade. But they're not using him. So that's why I will say
he's my buddy. Great guy.
I will say, oh, nice. I will say
new subscriber.
Awesome. Appreciate it. I will say that I think FinStanza, you gonna let me talk or you just keep going every time I say a word?
I'm trying to invite my buddy.
I understand that. But you could say it when I'm done. Like if I just take a breath.
I'm an asshole, sorry.
I know you are, and I'm not disagreeing with you.
I'm a moron. Just call me McDaniel.
But look, I'm just gonna say I believe the Dolphins need to go get a tall receiver, guy that's over 6'2", 3, 4, whatever, to pair with those three guys. All right, it's all love. Tati knows this. It's all love. I say he's an asshole, but he knows it's not love. I love the guy, my Canadian brother. Bubba, don't get emotional now.
Who, me?
Yeah, you said Bubba. We don't have to cry.
No. I'm not that. The important part of this today is that from A to Z, Danny Crossman, big mistake today was Blake Ferguson getting a penalty, and then
block
field
kick
goal, and then we gave them a great starting position. Then you have Vic Fangio's lazy defense on the last two drives. Then you have Mike, and I told you he should be down there. I'm telling you, he has to be on that sideline. Shame on him. Shame on him. Shame on him. But in the end, it falls on Mike McDaniel. You choose to play the players you choose to play. And it wouldn't matter if you had Teron Armstead tonight. It wouldn't matter if you had Javon Holland tonight, because Mike McDaniel, I purposely think, wanted to lose this football game tonight. As crazy as it sounds, he wanted to lose this football game.
Who?
Mike McDaniel consciously wanted to lose this football game because Raheem Mostert should right now have the record for the most touchdowns by a running back by two. By two. He let those points fall. He let his quarterback try to win him the football game when against the Steelers he sucked. Last year they struggled. This year they struggled. When it comes to big moments for Mike McDaniel on Sunday night.
Let me ask you this. Can I ask you this? And I want you not to be in, and I'm saying this respectfully, in your feelings. I want you to try to answer this as clear-headed as possible, taking the whole field of the season that you've seen. Tua. Yeah. We know he's a good quarterback. He can be. I know you said robot, and I get it. Is he elite?
No.
Okay.
No. Tua Tagovailoa is a good pocket passer, an accurate passer, if he has star weapons. So when he has Tyreek Hill, or he only has Jalen Waddle doing very basic slant passes, but when he's been successful, he had either Jalen Waddle, he had Tyreek Hill, or Jerry Jeudy, or Henry Ruggs, or Jalen, or Devontae Smith.
Yep.
He doesn't know how to do it by himself. And today, when he had to find movement within the pocket, he got lost because he went forward. And also, he was stupid again today, and he decided to try to make plays, putting his head down. You saw that going into the goal line?
Yes, I did.
Put his head down.
Yes, I did.
And like I told you this, his jiu-jitsu didn't work today because he kept on falling. But he was falling.
Well, that's how they look. Again, Will Levis
slipping. He was falling everywhere.
Will Levis was, again, escaping the pocket, making plays, breaking through, not accepting the fall, trying to roll out. I mean, again, a rookie who you didn't make look like the guy you made him look like. Remember, I liked Josh Allen coming out. We do our draft shows. I did like Josh Allen coming out, Anthony Richardson as well. Josh Allen, not Josh Allen. Will Levis is a Josh Allen clone in regards to a poor man's Josh Allen, and he kind of showed it today. And also, what he showed to me too, that was kind of like that, his attitude. When they were down, he was determined. You could see on the sideline he was hyped to get back out there. Yeah. When they got the game-winning touchdown, he was as hyped.
Yeah. Well, by the way, I will say this. You can't, and I will. The only thing I will say is when you don't have your star left tackle, you don't have your star wide receiver, you can struggle. That's my buddy. You can't struggle you can struggle. Because if you take the 49ers, for example, they lost 3 in a row and Brock Purdy was ordinary without Trent Williams and Deebo Samuel. So if you didn't have Tyreek Hill and you don't have Teron Armstead, you could struggle as a football team. But at least you could try by using your best weapon. So even when they were struggling, at least they used Christian McCaffrey. Your best offensive weapon is Raheem Mostert, and you didn't use him when Tyreek was down. And you knew in the second. So for me, there was no 2-minute offense. It should have been over. They couldn't. He was still trying to throw. Like, also, you want to know what? Tyreek Hill was on the field. He should have tried one deep pass to Tyreek with 2:40 left. Like, he used the running game at the wrong time.
Yeah.
And all I'm going to say right now is because it will be the Josh Allen love fest this Sunday, and Tony Romo will hex the Miami Dolphins. The Miami Dolphins are going to struggle this Sunday because they think it's a different team. What's different? They have the same quarterback and they have the same head coach. Who are the two leaders of a team? A quarterback and a head coach. And you want to know why? And by the way, why are the Kansas City Chiefs struggling? They don't have wide receivers. If you don't have depth at wide receiver, you're going to struggle in a passing league, and that's what happens. In San Francisco, they have Ayuk, they have Kittle, they have Debo. We have Tyreek Hill. That's it. We have Tyreek Hill. I don't want to hear about Waddle anymore.
Okay,
Waddle again today showed me.
I know
is lost.
I know.
He is lost.
And that's why I think a receiver is a need, another receiver to pair with those guys.
There's no one there.
Well, whatever. Draft, free agency.
No, I'm saying this season.
I'm not worried. You can't do nothing this season.
Let me ask you something. Don't be in your feelings. Okay?
Uh-huh.
Would it surprise you if this team finished 9-8? It wouldn't surprise me.
No. It would because that's their history. That's what they do in December. And that's why I said at the beginning of the season, what?
Brian Flores didn't lose this many games in December. They struggled in December, but they wouldn't lose 4. If they lose 4 in a row,
what was my assessment? What was my my measuring sticks, I guess, whatever you want to call it, for Tua this season? No, Tua this season was staying healthy
and win a playoff game
and win in December. No, Tua win in December.
Yeah.
Okay. And season in and season out, these last couple, he struggles in December. Last time he played against Tennessee, remember how ugly that game was? I was there in person. 34-3. 34-3.
Oh, did you see that trivia question? The last time that Tua went 3 quarters without a touchdown.
Yep, was against Tennessee. So, I mean, again, prime time. The last time Dolphins lost was on prime time against the Kansas City Chiefs when they played in Germany in the morning. They've lost to the Tennessee Titans. You can make an excuse for the Chiefs by just, it's Kansas City, whatever. There's no reason why you should have lost this football game. I don't care what it's any given Sunday, right? Any given Monday, whatever you want to call it. Abso-freaking-lutely. They're 9-4. Absolute. The season's not over by a long shot. Okay. I know FinStanza says he's predicting a Jets win next week, but if the Dolphins win next week and the Baltimore wins, Dolphins stay at the 2nd seed. All is well. If Baltimore loses, Dolphin moves up the Nets. Okay, let me just run this down very quick. Sorry. Kansas City faces New England. We're going to say Kansas City's going to win that game. Okay? What is it? The big game next week, I think, because of the AFC East, and now that the Dolphins are not doing what they're supposed to do their damn job and stay ahead, Buffalo against Dallas. In Buffalo. Dallas, we got to hope Dallas pulls off a win there, especially if Miami wins.
They're not going to.
Okay, I'm holding you to those. Now, let's say that Dallas does their job or does not. Doesn't freaking matter, but I put Dallas there. Miami beats the Jets. Baltimore beats the Jaguars, which is another huge game for Miami. It stays the same. Dolphins do their job. They stay in the 2nd seed. All is well. If the Jaguars beat the Jets, they're back at the 1st seed. It's not the end of the world. And again, what I'm going to say is this. We've seen the flaws of this football team. They peek their ugly head once in a while, especially during a loss and sometimes during a win. Today, the Dolphins defense started off great, finished not so great. Every team gives up has a bad game. they flop and they have a bad game, and it's just, oh my goodness, how could your team do this? It's supposed to be this team. We know the naysayers are going to come out of nowhere. We know it's going to happen. It is what it is. It's the way of the world of being a Dolphins fan. But I will say is that this is just one game. You know, we lost the teams that we have lost against. You can make an argument it's going to happen. Those are damn good football teams that we did lose against. Buffalo, Eagles, Chiefs. This game is the game where you go, holy crap, we should not have lost this football game. There's no way we should have lost to this freaking football team. But we did. And I agree. We were up 14 with 4 minutes left.
Oh, for 767, everyone. The only team to ever allow a deficit of 14 points and lose a football game in the history of the last 768 games is the Miami Dolphins.
You're great, dude. I love how you just pull that shit up right.
But by the way, I just want to make it really clear. It's one football game, but it's a microcosm.
I understand.
Of the Miami Dolphins.
Well, my point to that was in regards of why it's 9-4, it's not the end of the world, is that Miami can grow from this.
No, they won't.
But yes, they can.
No, they won't.
I know what you're saying. You speak in absolutes, okay? And I get it. You're upset.
No,
they've hurt you. Hey, it's okay. It's okay to be hurt.
I'm not mad.
It's okay. Yes, you are.
I'm not mad. I'm sad.
You're lying right now. Your nose is literally growing.
You want to know why I'm sad? Because really simply put, Tua will be great if Tyreek is there. The two of them have to be there. If the two of them are not there, the team can't win. And right now, if I'm the Miami Dolphins, for the long term, I wouldn't play Tyreek Hill this Sunday.
Would you give Tua the bag? Somebody asked that earlier. I guess I'll ask you now.
I already told you I'd give him the 5th-year option. I would never pay this quarterback more than $35 million a year, but that's because what the quarterback gets. But I honestly, Tua Tagovailoa, unless he has a superstar elite wide receiver, and I'm talking a top 3, top 4 wide receiver on his team, he will not be a good quarterback.
I understand.
Waddle, I've been reiterating it on the pregame show, but in the end, this falls on Mike McDaniel. I said to you last year. Let me ask you, Bobby. It's not a trick question. When Tua was out, how many total touchdowns did Skylar Thompson throw to throw?
0.
When Tua was out?
0.
Exactly. He still hasn't thrown a touchdown. And how many games did he? And he played in a game, in a playoff game, and the last game of the season where there was a combined total of 50-something points, and your quarterback didn't get you one touchdown. Mike McDaniel doesn't adjust to anything, and he stays in his own head. He is not learning from Kyle Shanahan. It's a shame that he's not learning from Kyle Shanahan. That he has a weapon on the running game that he's not using. Also, I don't know why they weren't going outside as much as they were. They were trying to force it in the middle with Cotton and Jones and Eichenberg, and it wasn't working. They were trying to go up the middle, and it just wasn't working today. And this is the sad part. They did this without Jeffrey Simmons in the middle. That's what I couldn't even understand. Autry had a game.
Yeah.
Like for me right now, like I said, for our fans, the people like Fish Tank, the people like Dolfreaky, the people like Big E, the people like Manny who put all this hard-earned money, season tickets to go to these games and watch and enjoy and have fun, and we buy their merch and we do the Miami Dolphin players, the reaction to this game is it's no big deal. But what they don't realize is that the narrative about them, and Mike McDaniel says the narrative is because of how we're playing. You showed tonight that you are an amateur head coach, and you are not ready for the big time, and you are not capable. That when you are forced to go against a veteran head coach, you struggle. And think about this: like if the Patriots would have played us tonight, we would have lost this football game. Mike McDaniel would have found Mike McDaniel kept on giving them the game. I would say that
we'll score. No matter what team we were going to face, we were going to lose this game. You know why? You're going deep. I'm going to say because it was prime time. Miami, I don't know what it is. The lights are too damn bright for the Dolphins when they play on bright.
But Mike McDaniel is Mr. Pizzazz. Let me wear $500 pair of shoes. Let me drive $150,000
not his football
Audi. He is mixed. Like Duke is saying, he's a McStubborn.
He gets cute.
He
Yeah,
says,
dude.
honestly,
What's up, dude?
I never would have thought this. I never thought I would say this. I thought that we experienced the most stuff. I thought that as time progressed between Gase and then Flores, that we had stubborn head coaches. I have never met a bigger buffoon in my life as a head coach play caller than Mike McDaniel.
I
He
with
is a
all the listen,
moron.
with all the respect and love in the world, my brother,
He's a moron.
that is a reach.
No, he's not.
That's a reach.
No, he
That's
wasn't.
a reach. Yeah,
No,
that's a reach.
because even Brian Flores would have ran the football today.
That's different though, because
Why are you throwing the football without Tyreek Hill on the field?
Don't you
zone.
you didn't just say he's a prisoner of Tyreek?
But Tyreek wasn't there and he was throwing the ball.
Look, I'm all about it. I've been saying it has to be 50-50. Your running game is a huge strength to your offense, and that's what helps your offense go. Run the damn ball. And I agree. I talked about it last year. You know that. You and I both, obviously. But he becomes a prisoner of the passing game. It's ridiculous. But you gotta hope that you want to ask me another question that you're gonna answer?
No, I'm gonna let you answer it.
Uh-huh.
If this was John Shula or Jimmy Johnson, okay? Let me ask you the question. John Shula, Jimmy Johnson.
Or one stat?
No. Those two.
Okay.
And the players had as soft as on the 2-point conversion, and that how at the ease in which Will Levis, a rookie quarterback,
down
the field.
Yeah.
And those defensive players were running to the bench. What would have happened? What would have Jimmy Johnson and
Shula or Johnson would have ran halfway, cursing them out? They would have met him right in midfield.
Mike McDaniel had his arms crossed. Vic Fangio was in the booth.
I understand.
This team, they want, honestly. You want to hear something crazy? I'm about to say this. You can hold me to it.
It's 3 now.
They don't care if they win the Super Bowl. Mike McDaniel is not about winning the Super Bowl. He's about being Mr. Cool. He doesn't care about winning. He's won a Super Bowl before. Hasn't he?
Okay.
Didn't he win a Super Bowl as a ball boy? He's been to Super Bowls. He hasn't won one. Was he the ball boy when they won back in '98? I don't even remember.
Maybe he was. It has to
I don't even remember. All to say, I don't think they get rings. The man, there's no interest in winning Super Bowls because all he cares about is the flash. What's that famous line? He's all something but all sizzle but no steak. All steak but no sizzle, or whatever. Or he all cares about the sizzle. He forgets about the meat. He just wants it the sizzle to be without meat. It's just.
I got you. All right.
He's a moron.
Okay.
Simple as that. He's a moron.
I got it. Appreciate that.
No.
Look, no, I will say this. I know, guys, and again, I think everybody who's watching right now.
Sorry to everybody, but McDaniel's a moron.
It's okay. No, you don't have to apologize. It's okay. We'll accept it. I'm sure you'll get the heat if you get the heat from it, but you don't mind the heat. You enjoy it. I will say, first off, everyone who's tuning in, thank you guys so much. I know the late hour. I know we're all pretty damn pissed and frustrated. This sucks. Hey, I live in Tennessee. I got to deal with Titan fans tomorrow. I'm going to hear it tomorrow. And I told them they were going to jinx me because they're going, you excited about kicking our ass tonight? And I'm like, stop saying that. And they jinxed me. So I blame all of them. I blame them all. And I will say that to them tomorrow. It's all their fault. But before we wrap it up, I do want to talk about our partner, Caneswear. Let FinStanza laugh it off as he interrupts again. I will say I want to talk about our sponsor, Caneswear at Miami Fanwear. Guys, if you're a Miami Dolphins fan, obviously you are if you're watching this, or a Miami sports fan in general, Heat, Marlins, Panthers, Hurricanes, Marlins, if I haven't said that, they've got it all. Official Miami sports merchandise. They are located at 2655 South University Drive in Davie, Florida. They got some great stuff there. They got an outlet shop as well at that location. FinStanza was the one who introduced me to that location. I love it. I think they got great stuff on there. If you go to this, they got some nice jackets, Miami Hurricane jackets there. I think those are called bomber jackets. They got nice dolphin helmets, like the real deal, the custom made, all that. They got really cool things there, guys. If you're not in that area, let's say you're like FinStanza, you're in Canada, or you're like Steve Malloy in Texas. You're out and about. You're not in Florida, but you want some cool gear. Go check out their website, www.caneswear.com. Everything's on the site. Everything they have is there, and anything over $99 is shipped for free. Okay. And I'm talking about shipping. I don't know if I brought this up earlier, but the greatest show on surf.shop, $50 everything is shipped for free. And again, don't forget for that shop, promo code Fins Talk to save 15% off any order. All right, FinStanza, I'm gonna let you say why you laughed before we wrap it up, sir. What was the big laugh?
2 reasons why. This is going to take accountability. This is our quarterback. Gotta love it. He writes. Where was it? Where is it? Where is it? I almost peed my pants. Where is it? He said basically that injuries to Tyreek and several O linemen made it difficult for the offense tonight. You're the quarterback of this football team, the number one offense. You're telling me if you lose one player, your offense becomes one of the worst offenses in the league? I don't want to hear that. And Mike McDaniel basically said, why did they lose the football game? Ding, ding, ding. Out of character things in the red zone. Ding, ding, ding. No, not out of character, Mike McDaniel. It's the same character that you always do. We stink in the red zone till you give the ball to Raheem Mostert when you're desperate to give it to him because you have to fail twice in order for it to work. These boneheads, like hindsight is 2020. It's not like you didn't learn from this last year, Mike McDaniel. The second game you played in December last year, you got smoked. What happened tonight? You got your ass handed to you by beating yourself. Mike McDaniel, isn't that ironic that the second game in December, 2 years in a row, Mike McDaniel had his 2 worst performances of his coaching career because he stuck to what he thinks is best. And when that happens, this Dolphins team will go nowhere fast.
There it is. All right, guys, I want to thank you all for tuning in. We appreciate you. It is 12:50 Eastern time for those on the East Coast, 11:50 for me. We'll get myself ready for bed because I got work in the morning. I know Evan says, who cares? Because he's the boss. He gets to say that. And, I'm the boss of I'm the Fins Talk Sports, but I got to go to work. But anyway, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. It will get better. I say it will. I know what Evan's saying. It will get better. Dolphins are only 9-4. They got the Jets next week. I do predict a win. And we'll feel better next week before we go against Dallas. Yes, I want to wrap it up, but we will.
Again, I say it goes back to quarterbacks not performing. The team is doing well when your quarterback has limits. What you do to expect your coach to do when it comes to adjustment, Evan. He chose Tua Tagovailoa. When Tyreek Hill is on the field, he has to make the right play calls. So if he can't find a way for Tua to be able to get to his other receivers because they can't adapt, that's on Mike McDaniel not adjusting the play calling. If there's a poor communication between Jalen Waddle and Tua, that is on the guy calling the plays to come up with something that works for the both of them. If not, shame on Mike McDaniel.
Perfectly said. I will say I agree with Ronald McDonald. That was my prediction before the season, 11-6, and it could play out that way.
9-8, everyone. 9-8.
Guys, hold him to that because I'm gonna tell you by Saturday it might be updated, which is what we'll leave it.
No, you can hold me to it. I think they're going to lose out.
Anyway, guys, appreciate you. Like, subscribe. Most importantly, I know it's hard to say it, but
Frauds down.